The High Court has directed Kenya Power and Lighting Company KPLC to proceed with the execution of a 6 billion Kenyan shilling smart electricity meters contract that had previously been cancelled, delivering a major legal victory to the Chinese manufacturer and its local partner whose bids had been annulled in an earlier procurement dispute. The contract, awarded to Hexing Technology in partnership with Magnate Ventures Limited, was part of a broader initiative by Kenya Power to modernize its metering system by supplying millions of smart meters to improve billing, accuracy, reduce losses, and curb electricity theft.
In terms of profitability highlights, our profit before tax rose to 43.6 billion and after tax 30.5. If you look at the main drivers, ladies and gentlemen, it was a reduction in finance costs. If you look at the figures, the electricity sales grew by 2.76% to, that is 10,516. And then the commercial, that is in the commercial and industrial categories, as well as domestic customers, recorded the highest growth rates at 5.1% and 5.5% respectively. Then EV charging, this is an area that we are really promoting, and we saw also sales from electricity charging vehicles contributed 1.2 gigawatt hours, making it as a promising driver of electricity demand growth. Then there was 21% increase, or that is in terms of revenue, from 190 billion to 231 billion. The number of customers subscribed to our digital self-service platform grew significantly to 2.1 million, up from 1.7 million in the previous year. We've connected, or we have 447,251 new customers connected to the grid. And this is some of what has even assisted us to increase our revenues. This was supported by the availability of critical materials during the period and the subsequent deployment of our rapid results initiatives in October 2023. And I really want to laud my management team, right from Rosemary, Owino, and all the others, Muli, and really the entire management team in this particular initiative, and the entire staff of KPLC.
However, the rollout hit a legal snag after the Public Procurement Administrative Review Board PPARP cancelled awards in 2 categories of the tender, ordering fresh bidding on the grounds that the procurement process allegedly lacked transparency and fairness. In a judgment delivered in January 2026, High Court Judge Roslyn Aburili ruled that PPARB had overstepped its authority by reopening issues that had already been conclusively settled by an earlier court ruling by Justice John Chigiti, which validated the original tender process. Instead, Justice Aburili said the board decision to nullify awards in categories 2 and 3 and direct retendering defied the binding orders of a superior court and therefore infringed on the legal rights of the successful bidders. Hexing Technology had argued that PPARP's move to cancel the awards disregarded binding court orders that explicitly prohibited retendering. The company further contended that another Chinese firm, Chint Metals and Electric Kenya, which urged the board to have the contract re-advertised, was not even a valid tenderer and therefore lacked the legal standing to challenge the process. Magnate Ventures echoed similar concerns, arguing that the review board erred in its interpretation of due diligence requirements, particularly by suggesting that physical inspections of all manufacturing facilities were mandatory even for firms that had previously supplied meters to KPLC. In contrast, PPARP maintained that it acted within its statutory mandate, arguing that the original tender process lacked transparency and cost effectiveness and failed to comply with the requirements of the tender documents. It highlighted issues such as inconsistent application of evaluation criteria and the absence of a detailed evaluation summary. Kenya Power, which originally defended the tender process, told the court that it urgently needed the smart meters, estimating demand at around 420,000 units, and that repeated legal battles had delayed implementation and increased cost. The utility said it had already allocated a portion of the meters to local dealers and suppliers with ready stock, and that the ongoing disputes had already caused losses exceeding 7 billion shillings. The ruling paves the way for the Kenya Power to move ahead with the smart metering program, a key component of its strategy to modernize the national power distribution network and strengthen revenue collection mechanisms. However, it also underscores the complex legal and procedural challenges that often accompany large utility procurement contracts in Kenya. Innocent Ogaro, The Informer Media Group, Nairobi.